Welcome to the Black Tower Podcast. We are a Wheel of Time podcast. We love talking about the Wheel of Time and all things in the Wheel of Time. We like to make sure that these conversations are slathered with a nice bit of taint upon them. However, to ensure that you're not tainted against your will, we do offer reassurances. We do offer a protection of sorts, a spoiler condom, as it were. And
what weaves do you have to use to make latex?
Earth, fire,
wind, and fire,
and wind. All of them. It's a 5-weave process.
All right.
Yeah, because you got to use spear because you're just hoping it doesn't break.
In order to give us
just pure will.
That's the prayer part of the scenario. In order to introduce this protection and to introduce himself, we have a very special guest. You know him as Malkier Talks.
Guests.
He is the sexiest chef in Malkier, as dubbed by Lesby Nerdy, who is, I think, probably the most attractive emoji head in the world.
Ooh.
If we're going to go there.
Most definitely.
And Malkier Rob, please.
Also, for legal reasons, we do need to go ahead and tell you that he is the third best swordsman in Malkier. Sexiest chef, third best swordsman.
One day,
second most likely to go ahead and thump someone with a cane.
I mean, you got a bunch of names.
You can't be first in everything, so...
You got a bunch of names. You got Malkier Talks. You got Malkier Rob. You got the Malkier sexiest chef. You have Narg's boss.
I think Rob has...
Yes, Narg is my sous chef. Yes, you are quite right.
Actually, I take it back.
Problems.
I thought you were the second most likely to beat someone with a stick in Malkier. You're actually the third. It's definitely Nynaeve, Narg, Malkier Rob.
Hey, what though?
And then Lan?
No, Lan will never beat you with a stick.
He'll never use a stick. He'll use a sword.
He will use a sword.
That stew and the toasties you made, I learned a new word from your video. Never knew toasties. Oh, dude.
Toasties?
What? Oh, toasties.
Toasties.
Look, the one
we need
British
to get you
roommate.
some. We need to get you some culture.
Look, the one British roommate I had only
culture.
The one British roommate I had in college only taught me Belland, and that's about it. So,
I mean, that's a great insult. So you know,
it was like, this is all you need to know. Just when you go to the UK, call everyone a Belland.
Literally every single time I have heard bed knobs and broomsticks, I always think bellends and broomsticks because someone used it as an insult, and I was like, "This is amazing."
I love it.
Also, you got to ask the question: is a bed knob? Is that a dildo?
No.
Yeah, but
I mean, you can use a dildo as a bed knob, but you can't use a bed knob as a dildo.
Rob,
unless you're brave enough.
And he taught me the word merkin. So
Rob, protect them from the taint, please.
Not American, merkin.
Merkin.
Right. So, shall we go? I'll go spoiler condom first, shall I?
Yeah. Do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Black Tower. This is your spoiler condom. If you have not read all 14 books of The Wheel of Time, The Wheel of Time Companion, and the big bad book of White Art, which I always say wrong, then you are in danger of being spoiled. Spoilers come with side effects. And those may include vomiting, diarrhea, sickness for your entire life, virginity, suffering from hemorrhoids at the worst possible moments,
and that's the worst,
diabetes, a darkened soul, perhaps some more vomiting, definitely more virginity, because you haven't had any in 2 years.
Dry spells!
allergic reactions to alcohol and beer. No!
That was terrifying.
Even more vomiting because of the lack of beer. An inability to find anything funny. Gender inequality for the entire planet. If you do not like these spoilers, leave now. You have been warned.
Oh. Now,
Also, if you experience a spoiler election lasting longer than 4 hours,
Please see
go
a
ahead and
doctor.
call a doctor.
please see a yellow Aja sister immediately.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the Black Tower Podcast is brought to you by our wonderful, wonderful, amazing, and very talented, especially with shots, sponsor, the Crystal Barista,
Ooh.
who I am now voicing the things for because Josh is too busy playing Tam. We're gonna go with Tam. We're gonna let you be Zaddy this go around. You can be Zaddy.
He's definitely Gandalf right now. Look at that.
Yeah,
he's doing his best.
The beard's not white enough nor long enough yet. It's getting there. It's getting there. This is like Zandalf, like Zandalf, Gandalf. Whenever he was like, it's like Gandalf when he was like 18.
It's pre-Dolph.
Pre-Dolph.
It's like pre-teen, but pre-Gandalf, you know, so pre-Dolph.
We're gonna go with that because just saying pre-Dolph sounds like an era in Germany. Anyway, the Crystal Barista. Her website is what, Daniel?
Oh, her website is on Facebook. It's facebook.com/rockpick.
One word.
ROCKPICK.
And for
all one word.
And for all of you boomers that are listening, it does not matter if it is capitalized or not.
And for all of you Zoomers out there, I don't think it matters because if you're on Zoom, you're on the wrong website. So go to Facebook. Go to Facebook. Then do the thing. Cool? Yeah. All right. Cool.
Go show Utah's most notorious and bestest rock hound some love in the way of getting yourself some awesome stuff that she has hounded. There's some really dope stuff on the shop, all the way from if you just like pretty rocks, all the way to if you're more into the mentality of, you know, they have healing or advantageous properties, that kind of stuff. You can find all your stuff there along with fantastic descriptions of what it is and as well as what other properties and stuff may have. And if you want to be surprised, at least to some degree, or you're just like, you know what, I want to treat this like Death Wish coffee and just get it every so often, she does offer subscription boxes that are super dope, and they keep the whole family busy at least the first part of every month.
And I will throw this in, okay? And you didn't hear this from me, but if you tell her that you listen to the Black Tower Podcast, a couple of Black Tower Podcast stickers might accidentally fall into the subscription box.
Weaves of wind, knocks them everywhere.
It's happened.
Clearly a bit chaotic at the Black Tower sometimes, boys.
Yeah, I mean, we're
in a good way.
When you're working with the power, sometimes you're gonna get sticker accidents. That's just all I can say.
The power strays from time to time.
When you're working with Earth, sometimes you get some wind in there, and stickers and wind do not mix.
I will be sure to put that in my next spoiler warning.
Yes.
Please do. You don't want to pass any wind.
But after you've got all the crystals and minerals and
you
such,
want to break it.
After you got all that to help cleanse your soul and your house and your car and whatever, don't glue them to the steering wheel and make yourself a homemade claymore in your car. Because that's a bad idea. Head on over to thegreatblight.com, made by the fantastic Nablus and his team over there. They're doing fantastic stuff, making a spoiler-friendly wiki that you can search through and find all your fantastic articles. So for like this episode, you can search the person we're talking about. And if you've only made it to book 5, 1, you shouldn't be listening right now. But you can read all the way up until book 5 and then save yourself from being spoiled like many other wiki
You're in
sites
so much
will do.
danger of virginity.
Especially if it's been 2 years.
You're gonna keep it up. You're gonna get even more virginity. You know that's what happens.
I'm curious. You did introduce Nae Bliss as the Great Nae Bliss. That's a bit sus by John Mahale.
Do you not see the background behind me? You thought Taim was dead.
Is Andrew
the one that's
sus?
mirrored?
Look, okay.
The words Black Tower podcast are reversed at the moment, Andrew. Just to.
I think
They're
when
not
it
for
actually
me.
records. Yeah, I think when it records, it does actually swap.
Because when I tried it before we started this, it was reversed for me, so I reversed it. So when it reversed, it would be unreversed, so that you could read it. If it's
Is
reversed,
mine right? Because it's not reversed for me.
No, it looks good.
Looks good to me.
So if you see like random flickers and all this kind of stuff and everything,
we got Malkier Talks, we got Mountain Dew, and then we got Tsakapruat Kalb.
yeah. But if you see like weird like visual glitches and flickers, I'm using a virtual background. Malkier Rob is using a virtual background, and Josh
this is my new
not
kitchen.
because-
This is a virtual. My arms are
sorry.
disappearing.
Why are you on the cutting board of your own new kitchen?
It's like, have you ever seen Puppet Dan?
Narg had enough.
Stop.
Narg is like,
we
I'm
need
going
him.
to eat chef.
Narg need meat.
No,
Boss
I'm
not by
sick
meat.
of sous
And then
chef.
after
Narg chef now.
After you've saturated your soul with the findings of the Crystal Barista and the GreatBlight.com, because the Great Blight has a lot of truly talented and truly amazing content creators. As a matter of fact, every single Wheel of Time content creator is represented at thegreatblight.com. If you are a Wheel of Time content creator and you are not on thegreatblight.com, contact Nae Bliss and get your information there. If you're not a content creator, that's cool too. But you're wanting to talk more about the Wheel of Time with people who are like-minded individuals who also love the Wheel of Time, go to the Great Blight. You will sure find millions of people.
I do love that Josh went with that way. I thought that he was just trying to say that, like, every content creator for the Wheel of Time is represented on the Great Blight. And if you're a content creator and you're not on the Great Blight, you're not actually a content creator.
Yeah.
See, that's going to be super awkward here in a second when I bring up the fact that we need to get Rob here to talk with Nae Bliss.
Ooh.
About what?
So, am I just blind?
I'm on there.
Oh, you are. Oh, I didn't recognize. I was looking for the icon. I was looking for the blue icon.
I do need to have words with Nae Bliss because he totally didn't follow my instructions properly, and it has the wrong logos. But I figured he's a busy guy, so
you know what? You need to talk to him anyway because you're not on the podcast side as well, which you should be because you have.
I'm only on the YouTube section. You are quite right. Yes, so I need to be on the podcast one,
which is. You know, let's be honest. Nae Bliss is a busy guy. He's trying to overthrow the world. He's trying to destroy the pattern. And he still carves out time to build a website for us. So go see it.
Nabes, we understand. But
we love you.
Instead of clicking...
Nay, we get you. We get you, fam.
Instead of clicking the fancy see a problem / have a suggestion button, we're doing it here. Because
we know you're a huge
fan.
Call
him Nene.
And we're assholes.
Yeah,
can we call him Nene?
Yeah.
Nene. That should be it.
Now watch me. Now watch me bliss. Now watch me Nene. Now watch me bliss. Now watch me oh wait. That's not my name. That's not my name.
So
that's not my name.
Final two shout outs.
Name.
Plugs. Well, they're kind of plugs because of what they are, but it's mainly shout outs that are owed, and this is in regards to our Patreon. Easy link found at blacktowerpod.com. If you're interested, because if you are tier 1, which is $1 a month, for just $1 a month, you too can listen to us live. And if you listen live, you get to hear the episode an entire week and a half early. If
you can sponsor an Ashaman of the Black Tower for just $1 a month.
And we need help. We're not all there.
You got it right this time,
Operators are
Josh.
standing by to take your donations to save an Oshamon near you.
But
There
with
are
that,
yeah, we should do a whole commercial like Tom and Gaiden is past. You know this. But what you do not know is the suffering of those Oshamon still afflicted by the Dark One's taint.
And we need the pictures to just slowly
Yeah,
crawl down.
like
from
all of
the
us,
edge.
like
it
for
sounded
just
like a
$1
BBC
month.
documentary.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah,
Am I doing
David
a good David
Attenborough?
I was about to
Attenborough
say-
needs
I didn't
I
say
was,
it.
I was,
I didn't say it
I was
sounded
going
bad.
for
to happen.
Attenborough.
Yeah,
I was
no,
going
it
for
needs to happen.
Attenborough.
Oh, were
Like,
you? At Attenborough.
Attenborough.
Yep.
Did
David
I do it?
Attenborough.
Was I doing
Attenborough.
good? Was I doing a good Attenborough? I don't know. Probably not.
It wasn't spot on, but it was. I got what you were going for. I was picking up
Yeah.
what you were putting.
Well, I was my own
Yeah.
man, but I was channeling Attenborough.
because again, this is a situation where
It was another turning of Attenborough. There we go.
There we go. It's one of those situations where even if you
Oshaborough.
can do a good Morgan Freeman, even if you can do a good David Attenborough, even if you can do a good Ian McKellen, you can't ever actually do any of those three people.
You're not
because
wrong.
there's just
For just
a
a
here.
month,
You feel
can
it right
support
here.
An Ashaman who is suffering from.
But
the
there,
effect-
but we have somebody who is supporting
With that,
Nashaman.
if you join
With
at just the soldier tier, which is the $1 tier a month, you can listen to us live. And so you get the episode a week and a half in advance. And if you're one of those that can't listen live, but you want to get early access, dedicated tier and above, you get to watch the episode that's going up on YouTube an entire week early.
this is
Now, with
accurate,
that,
right?
we have two peoples to give a shout out. This is something you get at the soldier tier. You get an episode shout out for joining the Black Tower. So welcome to the Black Tower at the ranks of soldier. First, we have the Will Reads. Fantastic podcast. Go and check them out if you haven't already. They have joined
They're
the Black
amazing,
Tower.
and honestly, I feel a bit like a celebrity because with the wheel reads, there are some awesome guys, and they're all like, "You know what, Black Tower Podcast, we love you so much. Here's $1 a month," and I'm like, and I love that you guys can see my facial expressions now because I do a lot of that. But I'm super excited, like. The wheel read, those are some cool guys. Go check them out, and I'm super humbled and grateful to have their support. Thank you, wheel reads.
It's
My
funny. I
eyes
will
bother me
throw
a lot.
out there. There was enough. Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother? The episode where Barney's doing all of his like things over the phone, and Ted just totally knows exactly what he's doing on the other side of the phone. That's what I felt like with Josh when we used to record with just audio. Because I would always like stop. I would know exactly what he was doing in my head. He'd make facial expressions, and I'd be like, "Josh is doing the thing. Josh is taking a second to do the thing." But now we
And
can
now-
actually see it. Now it's like
you
a whole
can do the
stand-up
thing
routine.
with me.
Mhm. That is the joy of season 2, ladies and gentlemen.
That is the joy of season 2.
But the second
One of
shout
the
out.
many joys.
The second shout out goes to Snakes and Foxes. Thank you so much for joining the Black Tower. You're at home here. Pick up your coat on the left and then go bust rocks on the right.
That's right.
That's how
We
this
start
works.
fire and earth and air to explode rocks. And if you suck at it, we're going to train you until you're great at it.
Welcome to the Black Tower. Here's your coat. Here's your sword. And here's your stern warning about taking in too much of sardine. Now go break rocks, you motherfucker.
Do you know what I love about that is not, I know you were going for like the Wallace kind of a feel, but I'm also feeling Glory where they had the Scottish drill sergeant drilling the first Black Regiment. And I'm digging it. I'm here for that.
Got you.
I love that movie.
I got you. It's a good movie. It's a very good movie.
If you haven't seen Glory, go see it. Denzel, Carrie Elwes, Matthew Broderick, Morgan Freeman. Go see it right now. All soldiers, your homework.
No. Don't watch it right now. You can
Well,
watch
yeah,
it
right
after
now.
the episode.
Watch this, but all soldiers and up. as your Tzorvan Mahale, your homework for this week is to watch the movie Glory. And if you don't cry, we will be giving you a cup of wine.
I'm already crying.
There may be weed in the wine. Wait,
Shit, I gave him the wrong weed. Damn it.
All right.
So, Daniel...
So with
Yeah,
20
so
minutes
Daniel, what are we
of plugs
talking
and
about
shout-outs. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
So guys, here at the Black Tower, we have long-running segments for those of you who tune in for many different episodes. And one of those long-running segments is character deep dives into characters who do dope things in the books. And they often, not always, but often lead up to a deep dive into the relationships of said people. So today we are on part 6.
Part final
of Rand, the dragon, the Lord of the Morning, he who comes with the dawn, the Karakarn, the Koramur, all of his other fucking titles.
Keep going. No, keep going.
4,000 of first Queen of the Andals and the First Men, the Dragon Reborn. I think he's also a Dothraki clan chief.
Sure. Why not?
Sure. Yeah.
He's all of that shit.
I'm 99% sure he has a BAFTA. There's also I think he actually wrote and directed Hamilton. I don't know. He did a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's Rand al'Thor. Last time we talked about this gentleman, we left off on book 11. We finished book 11.
Yeah, because
we
nothing
finished the
had
Gathering
happened.
Storm.
Yeah. Because nothing happened
So
in Crossroads
book 12.
Twilight.
We finished
so we
book 12.
finished book 12. Cool. Nice.
So now we are starting.
Have 2 more books to go.
Which is why this is the final.
I am going to go ahead and throw out there, just in case anybody's a little bit disappointed that we're not going to go into Rand's role in the last battle in great detail. I will tell you right now, that's because we've done like 6 episodes on the final, the Tarmangaden, the last battle, the finale, the last longest scene in the entire books. So we will talk a little bit about it because Rand does some important stuff, but we're not going to dwell on it too much because go watch other episodes.
Well, listen, but yes.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Season 2 special because you get to watch.
Yes, no, you're right.
You had to watch every time one of the 3 of us, or some cases when we have guests on 4 or whatever, get up because we need to go refill because the taint runneth dry. Thanks, Rand, for cleansing it.
Dudes, I spent 4 months straight listening to nothing but you guys, so I'm well aware that you couldn't watch previously to season 2. I remember how often that that you guys spoke about the final, very, very long chapter.
Yeah. So as I said, we will touch on it.
Testimony or listener testimony.
We will touch on it, but we're not going to go in depth. So with that aside,
let's get into Towers of Midnight.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So this is obviously Egwene is taken over as the Amerlin seat. Rand goes and performs a visitation. They have a very interesting conversation where Egwene goes, I knew he was crazy, but he is dangerous crazy. Because Rand shows up and he's like, hi. We need to talk.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you there.
And Egwene's all like, I'm the Amerlin. Listen to me. I control the world. And Rand's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. While you're controlling the world, I'm going to save it. And to do that, I need to break the remaining seals on the Dark One's prison. And I'll meet you on the field, or the field of Marilor. Bring all the Borderlanders and everybody you can and every channeler that you can because we're going to have a fight. And Egwene is like,
there was a power fight!
It should also be noted. It should also be noted at this point in time Yeah, it should also be noted at this point in time that Rand is now Zen Rand. And
No, Bodhisattva Rand. We've established that.
Yes, that is established, yes.
He don't give a he's not intimidated by Amarillan seat. He's like, what the fuck is an Amarillan seat? I don't care. Egwene, first off, I'm Rand / lose Theron / dragon / kill the entire world if I wanna. B, you're Egwene, mayor's daughter from the Two Rivers. Like, don't forget who you are.
We can destroy the world if you wanna. We can end all of time.
The Dark One out of his prison so that I can destroy him. And then everybody's like, "Oh my god!"
Remember.
We need just like Rand's face in the clouds when she looks outside the window. Just remember.
That'll be when she's looking out the window and sees the sun break through over Dragon Mount.
Correction. I know your father.
He's still the mayor.
So he drops that truth bomb on Egwene.
He does.
The Amarillan seat. And she's
Ooh, that's another idea.
I think
for
he
the
does
Disneys.
it. I think he does it on purpose, though, because I think he's goading her into gathering everybody up at Marilor.
But here's the best part of
He's delegating.
He is, but he's delegating in a way that he's like, if you tell the White Tower what to do, they're just going to be like, well, now I'm not doing it. But if you say, hey, White Tower, screw you, I'm going to do this thing. You better show up to stop me. They're going to go, get fucking everybody here right now to stop him.
Well, and again, it's very much the like Rand really does know what he's doing at this point of, as you just said, it's the reverse psychology. It's the, I know how to deal with the White Tower now. I'm not going to go to Egwene as the mayor's daughter and be like, hey, Egwene, I need you. Be my main bitch.
It's the White Tower for me.
Right. You go to the White Tower and you say, hey, some crazy dude is going to show up on the fields of Marilor and break the seals to the Dark One's prison. Do you want to come? And they'll be like, I mean, we have to now.
Get in, loser. We're breaking the Dark One's seals.
So here's the best part about this whole thing. We said we're going to talk about Rand's involvement in Towers of Midnight, the second to last book, and we just did. He literally gets pretty much 8% of the entire book. He only gets 16% of the epilogue. That is all that happens with Rand in Towers of Midnight. He shows up, hey, Egwene, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm like totally enlightened now. And I can already foresee 35 chess steps ahead of you that you're going to protest, and
Towers of Midnight.
you're going to try to get everybody else to be against me. And I'm actually counting on that. That's a plan that I'm counting on. And if you were actually a good Amerlin, you would realize that. But whether you do or don't doesn't matter. Because
I'm sorry, did it just get darker in the room you're in? Because you were throwing some serious shade.
I mean,
oh god.
for somebody that spent a lot of her life that we see in the books being either forced or coerced into playing into the hands of others until she becomes the Amerlin seat of the Rebel Aes Sedai, do you think it'd be like in the list of the top 10 of things to look out for? But it doesn't happen. And to be fair, I think her response is apt because until now it's all like protect the seals, and suddenly Rand's like, yeah, so we're going to let him loose.
She and to give Egwene some credit, one of her
Why would you
Just
do
some.
that?
many
Just a little
titles
bit. Just kidding.
Just a little bit.
is
Keeper of the Seals.
Watcher
of the Seals.
Has she
So-
even touched one yet?
No.
Oh, she touches it.
She only watches. I mean, she doesn't actually get to keep them or
She just likes
play
to
with them.
watch.
She just likes to watch.
Watcher the seals. Oh, that one broke. Oh, that one's still. Oh, never mind. It broke.
And I watched it break.
Yep.
I watched
watched
the
it just-
seals.
I'll tell you what, I watched you break the seals.
Oh, so
You
Rob, what do
guys.
you think about Rand's cameo in Towers of Midnight?
Cameo.
Well, I mean, I've got to go
You're
back for a
not
moment.
wrong.
He's just made me think of something hilarious. So when he was like, "Look what I'm gonna do, guys! Come stop me!" All I got was Kevin McAllister,
From
and suddenly I was
Home Alone.
like, "From Home Alone," and I'm like, "Oh my god, the White Tower!" And now the two criminals trying to chase him down.
Yes.
No, dude, you just hit the nail right on the head. The Rebel Aes Sedai are definitely not working very well with the other. And if they had just gone ahead and gotten their stories straight and had done shit working together, they could have had that motherfucking kid.
So what I'm hearing is that Egwene's sending all these letters to people is like the moment where they're trying to shoot Kevin, but the gun's too greasy and lubed up for them to actually fire around.
Yeah,
But please
but no,
continue.
it's mad, isn't it? It's the second to last book, and he's barely there. It's like, he turns up and he gets some. He just walks in and like, I don't give a fuck. There's hundreds of warders around him, dozens and dozens of sisters, and he's there just like.
Oh, he has what we call in the biz as BDE, big dragon energy.
Big dragon. He definitely has some big dragon energy going
When
on.
he comes down from Dick Mountain, he's got some big Dragon Mount energy.
He's got all the Dragon Mount energy. And you know what? At that point in time, sometimes when people have big dragon energy, you can't. It's like, okay, you have big dragon energy. Good job, buddy. Whatever, and you move on with your day. And then sometimes that big dragon energy permeates, and you're like,
oh, when you take a step back or you get hit in the face with it. Yeah,
that's the dude with some big dragon energy. Now, here's the thing: Rand at this point in time has that very sincere, very concentrated BDE.
which is also funny because if we're all being honest, like Rand has a plan, and it's a good plan. And again, you're spoiler condom, so we all know that it works. Plan works.
Planning man.
But at the same time, Rand doesn't
I'm gonna fight you for a moment.
know that the plan's gonna work at this point.
I'm
just
gonna fight you for a
has
second,
good plan.
Oh,
Yep, I'm gonna. His plan is for him to be in charge of everything, and it's Moraine turning up. Just to skip ahead quickly, it's Moraine turning up that changes it to be. Is it Elaine in charge of all the armies or something instead?
yes.
Yes.
Elaine becomes battle commander.
So Rand wanted to be in charge of everything, and Moraine changed it. So his plan was not fully executed.
I would even take issue with that because he knew that he needed to fight the Dark One. He posed himself as being. See, this is one of those like Sherlock Holmes style plan within a plan within a plan within a plan within a plan. He posed the plan as him being the battle master with the intention that the White Tower would wrestle control away from him and think that they scored a victory by having supreme command over the battles, when in reality they're just doing exactly what he wanted them to do because he was going to be fully occupied fighting the Dark One.
Yeah,
So he learned from
This
the
is Rand
sequel.
pulling an Egwene on Egwene, basically. Then, like when she manipulates the rebels into giving her access to Rand.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which makes
You
you
must
think that
surrender
Egwene should
to
have seen
control.
it coming.
This is Rand being a little bit of a douche in the divorce and just saying that he wants the kids and that he wants full custody so that he can get his truck as a trade-off for not getting full custody of the kids.
Oh, I love it.
So
love it.
basically
Because
what
in
you're
the end,
saying
he
is
only really wants his truck.
Rand still hasn't recovered from the breakup with Egwene with Elaine there. And this is him finally getting what he feels like his revenge. It all comes together.
I can see that, yeah.
It's like a circle, not a triangle. Triangle only have three sides. It's like
Or
circle.
like a wheel.
Well, that's a new feature in this book, having a circle involved.
Borat.
So
Yeah, never happened.
My circle, my pattern. Do you want to be my dragon?
Are you my dragon?
Well, because you asked so nicely.
I'll be your dragon, baby.
Ooh.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. So, any
I like
final
when our
thoughts?
guests jump in with our banter.
So no,
Any
but
final thoughts on almost 0.3% of Towers of Midnight?
I think we
Nah.
covered it. He knew what he
Nah, we
was
good.
doing. He walked in with that BDE. He said, "This is what I'm going to do, and I need you guys to meet me in Marilor to stop me." Ha 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 ha.
He played her like a
And
fiddle.
He did. He did.
Which is
Played her like
typically
Charlie
Gawain's
Daniels
job.
plays a fiddle. The devil
a lot
laid that
of
golden
people-
fiddle at Johnny's feet.
You know, a lot of people talk about how strong and powerful the devil is, but I just want to remind everybody that he lost in a fiddle competition to a kid. So fuck that guy.
I mean,
No
how can
wonder
you,
he loses
So-
the last battle.
how
So
can you
maybe he
fight
played
the,
her like a flute then, maybe Rand was fluting her instead.
Again, that's Gawain's job.
Tom is rolling in his grave, shouting about how his flute doesn't belong there.
I'm so done
Stop
with
it
this.
with
one
your
time, I'll
clumsy
dig that
farmer
out.
hands!
2 towers happens, and then we've got
The 2 towers? You mean towers?
No.
So
it's
earlier you confused Wheel of Time with Lord of the Rings, or vice versa, and now you're doing the opposite.
Yeah, I do that frequently though. The taint is strong with me.
All right, guys.
Thematically,
a
you never
memory
confuse Star Wars with any
delight.
of this.
A memory of lights.
Do you remember what light used to look like
Nope.
before?
In the before times?
Rand remembers.
Tell
The
us
dragon
about
always
the
This is
before
before.
times.
This is
Oh,
the
the dark times. Oh, the empire.
Songs that remind us of the good times, songs that remind us of the bad times.
I was going Star Wars, but you can go Chubbawamba if you want to. That's cool.
I mean, I
So-
did. And let's be honest,
That's
if
one
the
note.
choices are Chumbawamba or Star Wars, I will get knocked down, but I will get up again. Ain't nothing ever going to keep me down. I will have a whiskey
The
drink.
truth is,
I will
thought
have a vodka drink. I
I
will
thought
have a gin
that
drink.
light mattered. But does it, bollocks? Not compared to our dragons matter?
I
Okay.
saw him killing younglings.
So
So what does Rand do? Okay,
Anyway.
so a memory
So-
of light.
Rand, as basically after he just dipped out of the conversation with Egwene, goes to the fields of Marilor and is just like sitting there being like, I have built it.
Any
The
minute
nerds will come. And they do. Armies
They do
start
come.
showing up and amassing on the fields of Marilor. And, you know, we have all these like sporadic conversations that you need to have at the start of a book because you can't start immediately with the really exciting stuff. And eventually Rand and all the rulers, including the Amerlin seat, Egwene, have a meeting and they're talking about everything going on. And Rand's like, you know, I will save the world, but there is a price attached. And the price is, of course,
Yes.
the dragon's piece, which they all get into. And a lot of people it feels like about half and half are like yay for, another half are like nay for. And then out of nowhere, Moraine shows up.
Dun, dun,
Remember,
dun.
too, at this point in time, that
Wait,
the
isn't
Borderland
Moraine dead?
armies.
Didn't she
No.
die?
No,
She ain't
nope,
there.
never
She just
did.
went home.
Remember, too, at this point in time, the Borderland armies have had their. You will strike him and bloody him, and his wisdom will be blah blah. They did their test to see if he's not just the Dragon Reborn, but is he the Dragon Reborn who has overcome his madness and is able to save the world? So the Borderlanders are all like, if that's what Rand wants to do, we're going to stand by him. He's the Dragon Reborn, and he's going to lead us to victory. So what he says, that's what we going to do. So, like, when you talk about half that are yay and half that are nay, you got to remember the Borderland armies are like 100% yay, no reservations. They're in. They're
Well,
like, we
and-
don't give a fuck.
It's also
Whatever he
funny
says
because, like,
goes.
for all of their like belly aching and whatnot about the fact that the Kara Karn is just a chief among chiefs, and he is not a king, and he does not order the Aiel around.
Yeah.
We simply listen to him as a chief among chiefs.
Right.
The Aiel are also there, like, yeah, no, this is spit in Sightblinder's eye. This is Sightblinder's eye spit time. Like, we're doing this.
They
were not
Been
originally
building that
included.
loogie up.
Yeah.
They
They were
forced
not
their way
originally
into the
included.
meeting.
Avienda does. Avienda
Yes.
force and the other IL leaders that are with her, of course, they demand that they be subject to the treaty as well, with the caveat that they be the arbiters for any disputes that happen. And we know why we've already talked about Avienda. We know of her visions, and she feels that this will stave off the horrendous future that she has seen.
Right.
And then, of course, everything gets into it, and they're like, okay, we'll only sign this if the Shan Chan agree to it as well. And Rand assures that he will get the Shan Chan to agree to it before the treaty goes into effect. And it's after that point that Elaine is then named the commander-in-chief of the forces of light. And so Elaine goes off, and we kind of know, like, Rand is more than happy for this to happen because at this point it's public knowledge that Elaine is very, 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 very pregnant. And Rand wants her to be somewhere safe.
Pregnant?
Yes.
Pregnant?
She having the baby.
How get the
Pregnate?
pergonate from first time?
Is she be pignate?
She had the babies.
Hey, baby.
She had
Two
the
of
babies.
them.
Oh, two of the babies.
But so that happens. Elaine then dispatches her forces basically in 4 different segments for 4 different campaigns, which I don't like the word, but that's fine. This is a singular overall battle. You don't have campaigns within a battle. Anyway, whatever. Wording is what it is. At least for the wiki, we're going to go with that.
God love the wiki.
Yeah. We know that Kyrian winds up being taken.
God save the wiki? What?
Yeah. Kyrian is taken by the Shadow, and then the Shadow lose it again. But that's not about Rand, who is who we're focusing on. Why did I even mention that?
It's okay.
You're just going. Just keep walking through your thoughts, man.
Yeah.
Again, I do love the idea that Rand hears Bay, and she's like, I know that we've talked about this before, so I'll make it quick, but I do love the, hey, we need to be in this Dragon's Peace, and also the Shan Chan, and then Rand is sitting there like, yeah, babe, anybody can be on the Dragon's Peace. That's fine with me. Whatever you say goes, baby.
Well, and that's where I was just getting ready to go with that. So when they have this big negotiation, Moiraine shows up, everybody, they do the big thing, they go the hullabaloo, and they come around to an agreement, but they all kind of look up at Rand and go, none of this matters if the Shan Chan aren't on board. And so Rand kind of goes, okay, you're right. I will get the Shan Chan on board, or
Going to the background.
treaty- Yeah. And he says, I will get the Shan
Justifiably
Chan
so.
on board, or the treaty is void. If I can't get the Shan Chan on board, we're going to lose. So absolutely sign up with the caveat that the Shan Chan are on board. And if they're not, all bets are off.
I mean, he's
And
still carrying
everybody's like-
that BD energy, isn't he?
He is.
That's a bold claim.
Well, that's how he
It
gets. That's how he gets the Shan Chan to agree, because he shows up in Abu Dar, talks with Tuon, and Tuon's like, "I'm a descendant of Alta Hawkwing. He owned all this much of the world. It's like, he controlled most of the world, or at least Randland, with the exception of Tar Valon, through the Third Age." And Rand's like, I am Lews Therin reincarnate. I am Lews Therin. And I controlled the entire world during the Second Age. So you're all kind of descendants of me and what I did. And Tuon's like, oh, there's a raven with only 347 feathers. It must be true.
Yeah,
Those ants have not all crossed at the same time.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and so Tuon, or now Fortuona, we still call her Tuon, but now officially named Fortuona as she is the
Fortuona de
Empress.
Isn't that
Bendrag
after she's dealt with
blah,
Rand,
blah,
isn't it?
blah.
She becomes Fortuona, if I remember
It's
correctly.
before. This happened in
It's before.
book 12.
Yeah, she
Oh,
becomes
yes.
Fortuona
Because she
when-
rejects him at first,
Yes.
before he has his Bodhisattva
I know
moment.
why I was
I
thinking that.
reject your reality and substitute my own new name.
I know why I was thinking that, because I watched episode 5 of this sequence today prior to recording.
Ooh.
That's why it was in my head, because
Nice.
I genuinely heard you discuss this earlier today.
And now we have
Although
it
for you, it was
unofficially canon that Fortuona is actually Adam Savage. So,
I like it. Nice.
but so this happens. He gets Tuon or Fortuona, whichever way you want to call her. Tuon still works. I think Matt even still calls her Tuon, to agree. And the Shan Chan
Well, but
muster
he's
their
allowed
forces.
to.
Yeah, he's in a unique
Bebe.
position. You can
He's
kind of call the Empress whatever whenever you're banging her. So,
well, only if she likes being called whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, actually, if it's an empress, you better make sure that your pet names are good, or you might be shorter by a head.
Short of a few things.
what praying mantis bullshit is this? Anyway,
Did you read anything about Tuon?
no. Yeah. So there are some provisions set in place about captured Martha Damane or Chandlers and who may be captured in the future, that kind of stuff as part of the agreement. But we'll move on. So Rand then moves towards the Pit of Doom with his force, whose orders are to defend the canyon until he finishes his business, and he has the fancy little dagger that is dull as shit, doesn't seem like it'll cut anything, but it serves as a Terangrial. It is a Terangrial. It doesn't just serve as it. That they found, I believe it might have been part of the Ebudar cache they found. I can't remember. But it'll
It was, yes.
whoever's holding it, their presence is hidden from Shadow Spawn and Forces of the Shadow. So
Including
that
the dark
happens.
one, doesn't it?
Huh?
Includes the dark one as well, doesn't it?
It seems to. Let me put it that way. It seems to. If I was the overarching, really super shitty leader, as we discussed in the last episode, of the Shadow Forces, and the biggest guy I was worried about suddenly disappeared from view, I'm like, yeah, he's right outside, probably. That's where he's going to be. But whatever. You know, you can turn Sauron's eye wherever way you want to, and nobody.
I was
gives a
literally
shit.
about to say that. Yeah, dude, we all know that it doesn't work if the Dark One just is so smart that right at the beginning of the last battle, he's like, all right, cool. Rand just Luce Theron just disappeared. Fucking fire all of the Gats just right outside Shield. In fact, to be fair, I think he actually kind of does, though. Because Moradin is waiting for them. So I think there is actually an inkling that Rand is coming. Whether it's, he just disappeared, or
The Forces of the Light are here, and they're big guy.
Moradin is literally not at the head of the army where he belongs. If you're sort of putting your nameless general to head the armies, he is waiting for Rand because they know something's up.
Well, you get Damodred's first and last appearance, so do you really need Moradin?
Moradin has done this, round and round and round countless times.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he's losing his marbles so much.
You spin
So
me
he should
right
surely be
round,
aware
baby,
that
right round.
it's all going to finish at Shale Gould. Rand's going to turn up there, and that's where he needs to be in order to end the pattern.
And Moradin still has the kind of
and you
psychic
delegate.
link.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And you delegate. I mean, you don't, just because you're a nablis doesn't mean you have to control the armies.
Well, in the same way as Rand goes out and delegates his role to Elaine and sort of via her, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're correct. But I'm throwing out there that, like, again, I do like one thing that I have talked about before and will talk about again is that Robert Jordan is a master writer in the way that there are so many television shows, there are so many books that are just, this happens because it happens. There are so many reasons. Yeah, plot armor. There's like, if literally somebody hadn't said this isn't what it looks like and had just explained without pausing, the whole conflict would be moot. But you can't do that because you need conflict. And some people write books and do, television shows and whatnot where conflict just exists without a reason. Whereas Robert Jordan, I think, does a very good job of showing that there are smart things that the bad guys are doing.
I found a reason for me.
Well,
and so again, Shaitan is really...
you have the situation where Moradin doesn't actually know everything that's going on, so he does eventually lose. But he is smart enough to be in the right place at the right time to try. And so again, you have this like, okay, there's more conflict because Moradin is smart, not just because conflict. But then you also have the forces of the light win in the end because Moradin doesn't have all the information, things like that. And so I really like that about this story, and it's one of the reasons that I've always been drawn to it, is that it doesn't feel like conflict for conflict's sake. There's always a reason, with the exception of a very small number of characters like Gawain, where you're just sitting there being like, fucking talk to somebody. It does seem like everybody has the right motivation and they're doing the best they can with the information that they have. And that's where problems come in, is that people don't have complete information, rather than, oh, I'm just writing in conflict because I need a problem. And that's as I said, that's one of the reasons I keep coming back to these books in particular, and why I just can't watch some television shows, because you're just watching it and you're like, there's no problem. There isn't a problem in the show. Just fucking talk to each other for 8 seconds. You could have said 3 words and it would have been fine.
But communication, is that what you're talking about?
Sometimes.
Communication, talking about, doesn't happen. Anyway, back to Rand, so we can get through book 14 and then do our kind of overall thing on Rand. So Rand moves into the Pit of Doom. He's got the dagger that hides him until he gets there. He only takes Moraine and Nynaeve in with him, along with the Sangreal Calendar, equipped with men's knowledge, M-I-N, not M-E-N. And he finds Morden. They start fighting. Perrin is, of course, in Teleron Riad, fighting Slayer to try to keep Slayer away from Rand. And they just keep getting... Rand and Morden are locked into this duel. There's a point where Rand seems to step pretty much into the bore or the hole in the pattern and comes into contact with the Dark One himself, which is an interesting idea to explore. If you've watched Badger Reborn's latest video on theories about whether the Dark One exists or not, go and watch it because it's dope. And I'm still trying to figure out ways to counter the theory.
I'm working on that too, don't worry.
Oh, yeah. So all this happens, and up until now, Rand's plan has been, I'll get there and I'll just destroy the Dark One. I'll die doing it, but I'll destroy the Dark One and win. And it's at this point... As I said,
it's not a perfect plan.
Yeah. And it's at this point that the plan to break the seals finally happens. Things are happening for Rand slower because time is moving slower, closer to the bore than it is away from it. Excuse me. So all this happens, there's battles raging on. Ultimately, like Daniel said at the beginning part of the podcast, we talked about the last battle 1,000,001 times. Well, he didn't say exactly 1,000,001, but it feels like 1,000,001. But ultimately, yeah. So ultimately, Rand makes the decision that to destroy the Dark One would be a detrimental action against the fabric of reality. You can't have light without dark, thus, culminating in Wheel of Time's ultimate argument of balance across all forces.
Balanced, as
all things should be. So instead, he, by linking with Moraine and Nynaeve, using Calendar, and through Morden pulling on the true source, makes a quote-unquote perfect seal on the bore. And at some point in that, exploiting a flaw/feature, because it depends. It's either a bug or a feature.
You must be a programmer.
Nope. He takes
Remember,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, remember that Kalendor, one of the things that we don't know about Kalendor until the last second is that it is also a Sangreal for the true source.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just amplify Saidin and Saidar, it also amplifies the Dark One's power, which is, I think, the only one in existence.
Though, to be fair, I will throw out there, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm definitely not, but we don't have the experiment. Nobody else has tried to go ahead and channel the true source through another Angreal. So again, I think you're right. I actually think that it was designed that way in the story. But at the same time, we don't have data on any other.
And the significance there is that it allows Rand to harness Saidin and Saidar to trap the Dark One, but also protect Saidin and Saidar from
the
Dark One's touch.
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah, what do you think?
Chef, what parallels are you seeing here?
The true power is a set of oven gloves. I'm trying to find a food analogy there.
No, I like that.
It's the
No, but I mean,
foil for the
got my oven. Yeah, there we go. Exactly. It's the bricks around the fire. There we go.
There you go.
I was gonna say, wait, does that mean that you have to use oven gloves that are actually made out of the lasagna that you're trying to handle?
Yes.
No, you have to use oven gloves made out of heat.
Oh,
Stop the heat getting to the lasagna before you're ready. I don't know.
Oh
I'm getting
no,
lost
I
in
love
this
that.
analogy
That
now.
was fantastic. That was amazing.
Let's wrap
You
up.
have to use heat itself.
Let's wrap up Memory of Light. Rand and Shaitan go back and forth showing each other different worlds. Worlds where Shaitan wins, worlds where Shaitan is completely absent, which is what makes Rand realize. Yeah, which is what makes Rand realize that to destroy Shaitan is a bad move because he sees Elaine's counterpart and realizes that she's broken. So in a way, Elaine saves the world from being too good.
Well, he recognizes that if he removes the Dark One from the equation, he removes choice from the equation. And without choice, there can be no good or evil.
Yeah. Which is why he says that Elaine appears, well, she's good and compassionate, she appears hollow, because without evil, you know no difference.
Because she's a Stepford wife.
But all this happens, and ultimately Rand and Morden swap bodies, bringing back to the prophecy, the soul that wants to survive does, the soul that doesn't. Obviously, Morden Ishmael has wanted to die for quite a while, and
the final
the body
death
of Rand. Yeah.
He wants to be gone.
Oh, yeah.
So he occupies Rand's body as Rand's body dies, along with Morden's soul, and Rand's soul inhabits Morden's body, and the two combined survive. And afterwards, we get the infamous scene of Rand's body on the funeral pyre. Everybody's crying except for Elaine, Avienda.
All the people who know.
Yeah, Elaine, Avienda, Min, and then Cat Swain seems to have figured it out, that they at least know something that keeps them from breaking down.
I mean, they don't understand the concept of a spoiler, do they? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They need some spoiler condoms right there.
Well, I also love they also don't have any acting chops. Like, fucking, if you want to make it seem like Rand's dead, maybe cry a little, bitch. Like, come on.
They're like,
yeah,
he totally died. Oh, yeah.
I loved him so much.
Yeah.
This
we
actually
finish
leads
out the
up
book
to...
with a Rand that seems to have no need for channeling, can simply will things to happen, and Rand rides off into the sunset, into the fourth age, to see what that has to have, except, other than the children of, I think, Mandarb and Bella. Mandarb the horse, not Mandarb Fael's Hunter of the Horn name. So,
right, and this actually leads to one of the most famous theories in the Wheel of Time fandom, which is the impossible pipe.
Mm-hmm.
what the hell's up with that. Now we could do an entire episode on the impossible pipe, and I think
feel like we've actually
maybe we
done a
should.
handful.
I think we should do the impossible pipe, but
that
I
is
would
not
love an
this
episode of
is-
the Impossible Pipe.
It's an episode in its own.
Oh, yes.
What was that, Rob?
I would love an episode on the pipe.
There you go. Malkier Rob hath spoken.
All right,
Why don't you go in the kitchen and skin your carrot?
Oh,
Do you have any chickens you need that need choking?
We can help you. We're experts.
God.
No, whoa,
least two
whoa,
of us
whoa,
are.
whoa. Don't help anybody with their chicken choking. Actually, you know what?
Unless
If
they
that's
want
what
it.
you're into, never. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say we don't kink shame here.
But yeah, so
Brand is
Josh's
effectively
face
dead.
was so fucked up.
Brand is effectively Schrodinger's dragon at this point in time. He is both dead and not dead at the same
but
time.
the
Depends
three
on
of us,
who you ask.
the three of us, myself at least, namely for giving the overview of the books, have done an exorbitant amount of talking, even though we have our lovely, lovely, super patient. Well, I guess you have to be patient to be a chef with us. So this is the
I'm
point
pretty
where I'd
sure
like us
he's
to
got a
transition.
Thanksgiving dinner in the oven right now, and he's just waiting for it to be done so that he can
Slow
film
roasting
the
at 80
after
degrees
section
Fahrenheit.
of his Wheel of Time Thanksgiving video.
Slow roasting his turkey at 80 degrees Fahrenheit
Right.
to celebrate a holiday
Wow.
not native to the UK.
That's going to take some time.
I'm pretty sure it's going to spoil before it gets cooked, but technically spoiled meat can still be eaten as long as it is cooked and the bacteria killed. But with
Okay.
this,
Won't
we've
taste very
done
good.
6 parts talking about Rand from Eye of the World all the way through Memory of Light, obviously not including New Spring because he's not in there.
Because he ain't in it, motherfucker.
So
No, he's in it.
whenever
At the
you
very
think
end,
about
for like a nano moment.
when
He's
you
a
think
baby.
I wouldn't know that because I still haven't read it because
He's
I'm
a
trash.
baby.
Have you still not read New Spring?
Still
Andrew, you've been talking about that since I started listening to the podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
That was like 5 months, 6 months ago.
yeah.
Wow.
Malkier's sexiest chef is
Well, at
calling
least you
out,
know
Andrew.
I am consistently terrible. But so
I am
what
going to
what I'd like to
narrate
hear,
the books for you.
you know what? If it's anything even remotely close to the spoiler warning you did for us, then I am game. As long as at the end of every book I get the "Ow." But so what I want to
Lan
ask,
throws Moraine into a pond, and there's more vomiting.
They don't have sex, so there's more virginity.
Virginity!
finally a story I can relate to.
Oh,
But anyway, so what I want to ask you, as our guest that has been robbed of more talking time, get it? Robbed of more talking time than I like, because I love to hear our guests talk more than us. It just doesn't happen because we're so used to talking.
I just feel like I'm a
normally
live
me.
audience right now, that can actually interact as opposed to listen in the Discord.
It's a super secret Patreon benefit. If you go on Patreon and you do up, down, left, right, B,
There you go.
square. I don't know how you get B and
Konami
square on the same controller, but once you figure it out. But so we've talked about Rand all the way from Eye of the World through Memory of Light. And so now that we've talked about the individual books and everything, I want to take, probably the grand total between all of us the next 30-ish minutes and just give an overall conception of what has happened with Rand, how he's changed, thoughts about Rand, his character development, missed opportunities, great decisions made, that kind of stuff. So I want to start with you, Rob. What do you think? And I'm going to be listening because I have fancy wireless headphones while I go refill my British Navy rum.
Ew.
Oh.
Wireless headphones. Wow, I need to get me some of those. I'm moored to the computer.
Same.
He has. Rand goes through such a journey, doesn't he? The thing that is the bit I love the most about Rand is his reconnection with Matt at the end. So, and it was listening to Podcast of the Dragon that made me really appreciate this. So their friendship, Rand and Matt, when they're traveling the road to Camelin, Rand is trying to look after Matt, who's becoming more and more suspicious of things. Rand's becoming periodically ill. Matt loses his eyesight after the lightning strike. All these different scenarios, situations happening. They think they're the last ones left alive. You know, their bond, their friendship there is really shown. And then Matt loses his memories, and basically the two of them fall out, and he's like, fuck you, Rand. Go off and be a lord or whatever, you idiot. And, you know, they basically don't get things. Yeah, they don't. Very much so. They don't really reconnect and become friends again. They sort of tolerate each other. Well, Matt sort of tolerates Rand. Rand understands that he's, you know, hurt Matt. And then Matt just disappears for a very, very long period of time. But at the very end, just after he's sorted everything out with Fortiona, Tuon, whatever you want to call her, they have that little bit like, oh, well, you know, I did this. He's like, well, I cleansed Sidene. He's like, well, actually, I rescued Moraine, so I win. And it's just like 14 books, 12 of them being not getting along. And then suddenly it's like, want to release a badger on the green again, mate. You know, and for me, that's, you know, that circular journey of their friendship was just, I mean, I don't know if that's mostly Brandon. I don't know if it was Jordan wanting it there. I don't know if it's a mix of the two. I don't care, because I'm just like, mwah, chef's kiss moment. Mwah. Where's the chef kiss emoji? I need to make one. But it's just, it's a beautiful moment for me. And it's one of the things that I really, really enjoy about Rand's just journey through the books and what he goes through and what Matt goes through. And at the end of it, they're still the two boys who just be like, should we go get into some shit? Yeah, let's do it. So that's the bit for me.
I love that so much because, again, with the exception of the Tam and Rand relationship, literally Matt and Rand is the very first relationship you see. And it is absolutely just that. It's, want to go release a badger on the green? No, we got to do some work because my dad just caught us talking, and now we got to go unload stuff. But afterwards, you want to go get in some shit? And then it bookends it on the other side. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, Rand, oh God. For the entire bulk of the series, reading that as a teenager, as an angsty teenager, I really identified with Rand.
Week.
So the whole time, I mean, it's never stopped. I really identified with Rand. I really loved Rand, and even when he was being an absolute twit, I still just loved him because I felt his pain. I felt like, damn, dude, you were thrown into a world you do not understand. You didn't get a choice, and you're doing the best with the tools that you have. And I think you're absolutely right there, Rob, with that sort of potent moment, because as I got older, you know, and my worldview sort of expanded, I could see Matt and Perrin and Egwene and Nynaeve all in the same scenario. They were all thrown into situations that they had no idea and no ability to deal with or handle. And then, you know, some people handled it better. Some people adapted better. But to have that moment at the end, I really like that. Just kind of the whole, oh, by the way, I did this. Oh, by the way, I did this. Oh, by the way, I did this. Oh, well, I did that. It's going to be really great to see in the TV show. Like, that's going to be one of those scenes that's going to be really awesome to see.
Yeah, it's a shame that Perrin couldn't get in on that. And Brandon even says that he tried to get them together, all three of them, but he couldn't make it work with the plot of the story. But
yeah. Well, to be fair, I will say that I actually kind of like Perrin not being there, and I will say I like Perrin not being there because if Perrin was there, in my humble opinion, it would almost in some ways diminish Egwene and Nynaeve not being there. Yeah. Because when it comes right down to it, as you already mentioned, Josh, with the maybe exception of Egwene, because she does actually make the conscious decision right at the beginning to go with them, all of these people have a destiny. And they talk about Rand and Matt and Perrin all being Ta'veren. And I get that, and I appreciate that, and they don't talk about Egwene and Nynaeve being ta'veren, but at the same time, the story doesn't work without them. Destiny doesn't work without them. They have these special talents that no one else has that make them unique, make them special, and make them important. And so even if they're not technically ta'veren, the world was asking for them.
Yeah.
The world called for those 5 people. And so if at the end you do sort of have the 3 boys, the 3 ta'veren, as I said, like, again, it doesn't, and I get that you can have it without doing this, and I definitely think that, you know, Brandon and Robert would be successful in doing it, but as I said, to me it would feel wrong to have 3 without 5. And so I like just the 2 because it feels real and it feels nice without actually feeling like anyone was missed necessarily, which it would be that much more pointed if there were more of them without all of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get what you're saying there, yeah.
It creates a much more realistic type scenario in which Rand and Matt were the ones that were there. Yep. I mean, Matt had already gone back to talk to his wife. Rand had just come from the fields of Marilor. Perrin was off doing his thing. And it's like, it was a natural progression.
Also, to be fair, I will throw out there that we talked about this last time because of we did talk about, you know, Rand going up to Dragon Mountain and whatnot. I am not convinced that Perrin wasn't there anyway, because Perrin's always there.
Perrin is always there.
Perrin just lives in Tel'aran'rhiod like 80% of the time, and so he was there.
He's there at the epiphany moment, isn't he? You know,
exactly.
He's there when the clouds part and everything. So, he's just not there for the 8 hours prior to that because ain't no one got time for that.
I think I think for my sort of overall arcing impression is it's real easy for someone outside looking in, or someone who takes the series kind of casually, to say, oh yeah, it's about Rand and his journey to save the world. It's really not. And I think if there's one thing that we can identify, you know, without any type of debate, it's that Rand, at best, is a pillar in this story. But Rand by himself could not be successful, period.
No.
And that was one of the things we saw in the famous flicker, 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 flicker scene. In all those scenes, the one commonality, the one common denominator is that he's by himself. He leaves the Two Rivers. He stays in the Two Rivers, but he marries Egwene, but Moraine never shows up. He stays in the... I mean, there's just all these kinds of things, and it's such a beautiful, very poignant tie back to book 1 when Moraine says she's part of the pattern. Lan's like, no, send Egwene and Nynaeve back. Like, I don't need more of these infernal... Or Egwene back. I don't need more of these infernal children to babysit. Well, but Moraine says the same thing when Nynaeve shows up. When Nynaeve shows up, she says the same thing. Part of the pattern. And so...
I mean, but she kind of always says that.
But
I'm just kidding. But it is different when she says it about them.
Though.
You're
not wrong, though.
You feel a difference when she says the wheel weaves as the wheel wills at those 2 points. You feel it here.
Your first time through, you're like, okay, she's being a mystical wizard character. Your second read through, though, you're like, oh damn, she knows things.
Oh damn.
You can turn this into a crystal ball, and I can be like Moraine.
Yeah,
the wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
Exactly. And you're just
crazy
like, oh,
old
Moraine.
You have a loved one that passed away sometime within the last 30 years.
Exactly. You feel
Gosh,
it in
it
your jellies.
disturbs me to see you, Moray, sitting in Emmons Field. But Andrew, what are your final thoughts on Randomus Althorimus?
So a lot like
Randomus
Josh,
Althorimus.
Rand is the character that I resonate the most with. This is the character that I feel that I understand, and even more so now, better than any other character. I mean, you can kind of chalk that up to that he is a main centerpiece of the story, if not the main centerpiece of the story.
Right.
But his struggles and stuff like that, I can at least get to some degree where I can understand. Whereas others, I just can't. I don't have the life experience or the situations that allow me to understand, Egwene. I've never had one night's worth of dreams that made me go from I don't know who I'm going to be with to I love this guy magically, even though he's the shittiest person in existence. Well,
Right.
that's not fair. There are worse people, but he's not bad. He's just written that way. But I can't resonate with that. I can't resonate with Nynaeve. I can't even resonate with Lon. I mean, I can to at least some extent, like the kind of warrior soldier mindset, I guess. But Rand's struggles, and there is something to be said about how much of it takes the forefront, how much of it is blatantly out there for the reader to see, because you need to understand what the Messiah figure is going through and what's happening and how they're dealing with it, which I think Rand gets the bulk of. You get really good insights into like Perrin and Matt and even Egwene and Nynaeve and them, but just Rand was the one that I could resonate with the most. So to watch him go from nothing Jon Snow's sheep herder to Bodhisattva Rand and fulfilling his destiny, and of course the somewhat twist of his destiny not being what it was, which honestly we could have foreseen, because oftentimes the prophecies aren't exactly as we foresee them being played out and that kind of stuff, or the way they think it's going to be.
Misread could
Is
have
the
been.
truth an Aes Sedai tells you not always the truth you hear?
That's right.
That's a fair point. It's almost like the entire series hints at the fact that whatever you think may be about to happen isn't actually what's about to happen, or not exactly.
Whatever you think you know. Forget all you know, or think you know.
But yeah, I mean,
it's the whole
I
now you see
resonated
me
with
thing,
it.
is it? Like, the closer you look, the less you see.
All right. Now you see me.
That was a really good movie. I like it.
It was.
That could have been the movie quote of the night. Thanks.
Well, it could have
for
been,
ruining
but
it.
now it's not.
I'll find another one if you want.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
So wait, when you said be the smartest person in the room,
We were thinking the same thing.
Totally not the same movie. It's cool. What's that movie?
wow,
listeners?
that could have been the movie quote.
Oh, sheesh kebabs.
I just really like the way Rand is written.
Yeah.
I like the roller coaster we get to go on. I like the fact that we have sections of the series where he is not the centerpiece. He's not even close. I love the fact that in the second to last book that he is literally barely negligibly even there. I think it just adds to the tension leading into the culmination of the series. And I think it's some of the best character development we see. And we see a lot of really great character development throughout the entire series. A lot of characters have amazing development. But I can just resonate the best with Rand's. And no, it's not because he's a guy and I'm a guy. It's because I can identify with a lot of his struggles. Some people say the same thing about, Nynaeve and Egwene and Elaine and Avi and blah, 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 blah. Every character. I'm not going to sit here and name 2,600 characters.
Right.
Ain't no one got time for that.
Well, I mean, we literally started a show about it, so I think we do have time for that.
Eventually.
Right now, I meant.
It'll happen. Yeah.
We'd
Well,
probably
you know
take an
what
entire
we-
episode to name all characters from the series.
Oh, at least. But
Challenge
you
extended.
know what we do have time for? We did a lot of talking about who we are and what we do and where people can find us and whatnot at the beginning of our episode. But you know what we didn't really talk about? Malkier Talks, where can we find you if we want to listen to more of your content? Because I have thoroughly enjoyed your opinions on things in this episode, and I would like to go and find more of your stuff.
It's
Oh,
funny
thank
because
you
you
for
say
that.
English and he's from UK. It's funny.
Yes, I speak at this English.
The Kings.
The
Or is it the
Queens.
Queens? Is it the Queens now?
It's
I don't know.
always been the Queen's English.
She's been the queen for many
But I
years now.
thought
No,
the
she's been the
colloquialism,
queen-
the colloquial expression is the Kings.
The Queen's English.
Queen's English because
Okay, it's the Queens.
it's
Okay.
it's like our national
She's
anthem.
been queen forever. Also, it's
When she stops being queen because
No,
she's decided
no.
to stop living.
no.
And we get a king in place.
Well, that's
it will
when
be-
she decides. Not when
God save the
death
king.
takes her. It's whenever she decides.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So it's as soon as Betty White goes, then the Queen can go. But
That's
they're
it, they've
having
got-
a fight right now.
Exactly. They've got a
Yeah.
competition on the go. You know, there's I don't know, bragging rights on the.
They bet an empire on it, and Betty White thought she was getting a lot more than she actually is now.
of that.
But anyway,
So where can we find you,
You on your lovely cutting board of
On-
meat.
Your charcuterie board.
Yeah, I do. I've been told I do too much, but you can find me in various places. So, firstly, if you like dad jokes, I do tam jokes on Twitter. So that's at Malkier R. In fact, I
Can
am
you give
just
us a?
giving away.
Ooh.
There we go.
I'm giving away a Malkier Rob cutting board. You
I'm
should.
giving away. It's gone.
You
No, so
should.
I'm giving away.
We need Malkier Talks cutting boards.
They're in the progress. There's
They are?
All right.
Yes. Instead of saying so, I'm going to give away a secret here. Well, it's not really a secret, but I'm going to give away what I'm doing.
Nobody
So-
really listens to us, so it's still a secret.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm going to do a cutting board that instead of says sleep well and wake, it's going to say eat well and wake.
Ooh.
That's what I think I'm going for.
I like
but yeah,
it.
so there's merch in those. But yeah, I do daily tam joke on Twitter. So I'll carry out for that. If
Can
you
you
want to
give
see me
Can you give us a preview? Can you give us today's dad joke or maybe
today,
yesterday's?
specifically today's dad joke? Okay, I'll give you specifically today's dad joke.
Those of you listening
whilst-
later, it's the 18th of November. So
Yeah, we're recording this on Wednesday, so if you're looking at it on Saturday, being like,
Can you
that wasn't today's joke, know that you're on the wrong day.
can
Hashtag
you
yes.
give us the joke that you're going to do next Friday?
I mean, I have jokes saved, so I could do one then if you'd like. I have one.
It's up.
there we
It's
go,
up
yeah.
to you.
It's
Either
up
give
to
us
you.
the
Here we go.
18th, or you
I
can
will.
give
I
us
will.
the 27th.
I will put a joke aside.
you
just
funny
for you.
man,
In
we
fact-
want joke.
In fact, I have a joke about Rand that seems apt, so I'll do this one just for you.
Ooh, okay,
So-
ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, a joke about the Lord Dragon.
Yes,
Take it away.
made up completely by me. So, go to bed, Tam said to young Rand one evening. The sheep are sleeping in the field. Why does that matter? Rand asked. It means past your bedtime, young man. That is the joke that will come out. What date is that coming up? What
The 27th.
27th. That one is pinned for the 27th. Love.
Oh yeah,
There.
good on you, Daniel, for actually knowing the day this episode goes live to everybody.
I love that.
Unless you're watching it on Patreon, in which case you get it on the 20th.
Ooh, you get it a week early.
And then
Oh.
you'll know the 27th dad joke.
Yeah,
a week
unless you're actually
before it
listening
happens.
right now, like some of my fellow patrons are, because I'm a patron of the Black Tower.
Indeed.
Yeah, and then you're getting it.
yeah,
18
you're,
days
you're
early.
getting it 9
Beautiful.
days early.
How do you
yeah.
You
think?
can't do math.
How do you
I
think?
like you.
Because it
How do
says
you
it's the
think-
19th here in the UK. That's why.
How do you think Rob controls Narg? Because he's a soldier trained at the Black Tower.
There we go. This is it.
Oh!
Truth. Truth.
Absolute
Hashtag
truth.
truth bombs.
Also,
There we
I
go.
just want to. Why do Malkier Rob's ovens and whatnot work to the perfect temperature? Because he uses the motherfucking power. Like, duh.
I'm not
Cooking
gonna
with
lie.
the
I
power
thought
is
there
harder
was,
than you'd think.
I thought there was gonna be
speaking
like
of
some
cooking-
like European joke about Celsius in there, but
Yeah, I was expecting that, but it
It was
works.
going there.
No.
Yeah,
That's
if you-
just
if you
how
wanna
he
see me
measures
cook-
his heat. We all do our no. Heat your sardine up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and he's like, no, that's 125 degrees Celsius. Hashtag deal with it.
I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week.
Indeed.
I want to wish a special thank you to Malkier's sexiest chef, Mr. Malkier Rob. Thank you so much. I'm still waiting for you to get a Hadori. I know I can't
I
give you
know.
permission to wear it, but
I need to
And
get
But
one.
I
Speaking-
think if you take some photos and shoot them out to Daniel Henney,
in full chef regalia.
I mean,
I think you should have
mean-
a Heron Mark chef knife.
Bro, imagine that.
Oh.
Episode 32 of Malkier Talks podcast. Daniel Henney is in his kitchen.
Oh my god.
How did that not occur to me? I'm sorry.
What, the Heron Mark chef knife?
Aaron Mark chef knife.
Now the real question is, would that be on the handle, on the blade, or both?
Both. Definitely both.
On
like
the blade and on the sheath, because a good
On the
blade has to
blade.
have a sheath.
Yes.
It's
Well,
true.
I would just on the chef knife block. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
So
Or
go.
maybe
So
it's
on the
one
knife
that's
block.
so special that it sits next to the block in a stand with a sheath. Because there's some like really expensive chef knives that come with their own stand with a sheath.
True. True.
That needs to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a new Patreon goal. When I get to pick a number,
But we
I will
talked,
then
we
design and purchase that. But anyway,
we
That's
talked about you
fantastic.
plugging yourself, and we only let you plug one
Dad
thing.
jokes. Yeah.
So go ahead. Yeah,
You
we let you
plug
plug
everything.
dad
We're
jokes, and
gonna
then we
shut
shut
up.
you off. So go ahead and
well, we're
plug.
talking about food. So I cook Wheel of Time food on YouTube. I do narrations on there and a couple other bits just for fun.
and
But, yeah,
calf
if you wanna-
chat.
Calf chat. Yeah, if you want to come see me bake honey cakes, make a beef stew and toasties, as Andrew has suddenly become obsessed
God.
with. And have a calf chat. Watch Narg do a bit of cooking for me. Occasionally we argue.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly human feet, but
Yes, he does have
Narg is
surprisingly
smart.
human feet. Yeah.
Hey,
but
hey,
he doesn't wear shoes.
Don't trollic shame.
I'm not. I
Some
just
of them
didn't
have
expect
very
it.
human feet.
What's the YouTube channel?
It's just Malkier Talks.
Malkier
Search that.
Talks.
Malkier
And if
Talks,
you don't know how to spell Malkier,
you're a bad
fuck you.
Borderlander.
Correct yourself.
I don't know how to spell
and
Mac
if you-
here than you or
before
Sean
you
Chan.
chef yourself.
And if you want to hear my podcast where these awesome gentlemen will appear very soon, you just go to any good
God, that was-
podcasting
Like 4 days from now.
sites.
Yeah.
Yep.
As we're recording.
although I record quite far in advance, so the episode won't drop. I need to do some maths now. Vamp, vamp. So
Also, I just want to throw out there, Josh, that was a fantastic Jonah Hill impersonation. I just really want to give you credit for that. That was so good. Like,
This is why we never
So
let people.
good.
This is the problems we face at the Black Tower. We're like, hey,
This
plug
is-
yourself. We're gonna talk for 89% of it.
It's the taint.
it's the.
But
taint.
luckily, all
It's
of our
true.
guests are super nice people and they don't care, and it
It's
all
the
works
taint
out.
It's
for
awesome.
me.
it's great.
And also, I
Oh, for
don't
me
know
as
if
well.
you know
The
this.
British
we
Navy
do
is fucking me up right now.
We do actually have a special announcement. Next year for the Gathering Madness, we were thinking about going and seeing Andrew, because he's the third of our hosts that hasn't hosted a Gathering Madness yet. But
But I don't wanna.
we're
so.
actually just letting Malkiri Rob know right now. We're actually coming to you. You're actually hosting
We're
the next
crashing
Gathering
you in
Madness.
the UK.
You're gonna be cooking
Love
food
it.
for us. We're gonna be
Hell yeah.
helping. It's gonna be the chef show. Just
we'll do a live
the wheel.
bake-off.
Yes.
I'll get the Trolloc cook pot going in the garden.
Yes.
Get the fire
I'm
going.
Wait,
excited.
wait, hold on the trolley cook pot. What the fuck do you have planned?
No, it's not him. It's Narg. It's always Narg.
Narg will be cooking. but
Sorry, what does the
he's
sous chef
cooking-
have
I-
He's
planned
gonna
for his
have
meat
us
source?
for dinner.
The sous chef.
He's having
is,
us for dinner.
He's coming round to the idea of cooking ethically.
Ethically.
Yeah.
So now what we
Free-range
need
humans?
now what we need is you to make a Black Tower oriented dish after you've already made the epic Black Tower cake that is better than other potential pastries of an intoxicated nature.
Wow.
And just put our faces into the stew. You could Photoshop it. You don't have to like cut meat in the shape of our faces. If you can, then dope.
I do a
But
little veggie art where I like cut your
There
faces
we
into
go.
a carrot or something.
there you go. It's like pumpkin
Ladies and
carving, but
gentlemen,
for chefs.
Yeah, pumpkin carving. Ooh, pumpkin
Indeed.
carving, you know.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Malkier Rob, Chef Rob, thank you so much.
All
It has
links,
been a pleasure.
links in the description below if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Podbean.
Thank Narg for us for covering for you while you're out of the kitchen.
Ty
You guys
Shar
enjoying it in
Malkier.
there, so it's okay.
Taishar Malkier. We
Taishar Black
salute
Tower.
you. We love this. We love you. You guys are awesome. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining and being a part of this momentous occasion where we finally got our collab with the famous Malkier Rob.
Yeah.
Super
Only took us
excited to have you.
3 months.
It took, I mean, you know what? Math, okay? But thank
Special
you.
thanks to the UK for introducing a brand new round of lockdowns that made Rob extra available.
It did make
right.
it extra available, yes.
right.
There is always a silver
Hashtag-
lining, ladies and gentlemen.
Hashtag fuck COVID.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We've got a whole new,
Huckfovid.
Huckfovid, whatever. Love you guys. Thank you so much. From all of us at the Black Tower, I have been Josh, your Tsoravan Mahal.
I have been Andrew, your Bajan Mahal.
Our guest, our soldier from the Black Tower, has been Rob.
I was almost Dan.
He was. He was. That's
you
the
were-
thing. You'll
but-
have to see the pre-recording to know.
Exactly. You only get that if you join the Patreon and get the pre-recordings.
Yes, and I have actually been Daniel, and also napping. And we hope that you all are having a wonderful, amazing morning. We hope that it is great. We hope that you're getting literally everything you could ever want out of life today. And if you know it, Rob, would you like to do our sign off for today?
Sign us
Well,
out, buddy.
I hope you've had a lovely morning wherever you are. And if we don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.